Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I have for you a very pretty gnome swag in beautiful pinks and reds, 4 different types of deco mesh, 2 wood hearts with ribbons laced around the heart's perimeter, 2 gnome metal character signs from Hobby Lobby, pretty ribbons, mesh tubing, and wood heart embellishments. This one is such a pretty Valentine's Day piece, which could be made in any theme if you are not a gnome lover. You could certainly do this using other scrapbook papers and ribbons. I hope you find this one pretty as well, and I hope you feel inspired to create one. Welcome to all to my channel today. If you are not currently a subscriber, I hope you will consider becoming one if you enjoy this video tutorial. And as well, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me your comments. They are always welcomed. Okay, let's look at the materials that you would need to create this very pretty Valentine's Day swag. Okay, so I am using some long painter sticks today. I picked these up in a 3-pack at Home Depot. Sometimes in the paint departments and those types of stores, they will actually give them to you, but I needed 2. So I just decided to purchase a pack of them. My goodness, they're very inexpensive. I have there some wide painter sticks. Oh my gosh. Craft sticks. Yeah, craft sticks. I got those from Walmart in the craft department. Okay, here's those wood hearts that I've used in a previous video. I'm going to use 2 of them, and the information to acquire these wood hearts, I will put that in the description box. I got them on Amazon, very easy to find them. They come in, I believe it's a 6-pack. So I have 2 pieces of gnome scrapbook paper that I purchased at Hobby Lobby. Always get my scrapbook paper at 40% off every other week. Here's my 2 little gnome characters, little metal characters. They come with a stake on them, which of course I'm going to be cutting that off. But they have these in the Valentine's Day department at Hobby Lobby. And I was just at Hobby Lobby yesterday, and that Hobby Lobby still had a bunch of them left. So hopefully yours does as well if you want to do this swag in a gnome theme. Dollar Tree sells these packages of these little wood hearts. They're on like a little skewer, a little wood piece. I was going to use quite a number of them on the piece, but I ended up using a couple of them, and I'll show you what I did instead. I used some other little wood hearts from the Dollar Tree, and I'll show you that in a bit. All right, so I'm going to use 6-inch deco mesh on this gnome swag. That red and white striped one I got on clearance from Christmas at Joann's. That white 6-inch there, that was a Hobby Lobby deco mesh. But they also have it at the Dollar Tree, which I'm showing you right there. I have a red 6-inch roll, which I got that at Hobby Lobby. Okay, so if you want to use any snowball mesh, I had gotten this at 10 inches wide roll at Joann's after Christmas. If you wanted to use that and you have a 10-inch wide roll, you could just trim it to down the center and you would have 6-inch strips instead. That's totally up to you. I have here some different types of ribbon. They're all narrow ribbons, all of which I purchased at Hobby Lobby. Now, I did use a 6-inch roll there. I'm going to show you that in a bit. I don't think I initially showed it to you, but I do use that because I decided to really mix up my bundles. I have here some red hearts. I believe I had purchased these on Amazon. However, not necessary to go to Amazon for these because you could pick them up at Hobby Lobby. You could pick them up at the Dollar Tree and just paint them. These are plain ones. I think I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. Sometimes I just like to pick up a heart that has no hole in the top that I don't have to fill. So that would be a welcome thing. Okay, I have a nice stack of white pipe cleaners. You want to use something that matches your deco mesh. That's a pet peeve of mine, using pipe cleaners that don't match the deco mesh that you're creating a piece with. That's just me. What can I do? Okay, I have some white mesh tubing there. I got that at the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to show you some gorgeous scrapbook papers from Hobby Lobby that you could do this alternatively with if you didn't want to do a gnome theme. They are so pretty. Look at that one. Love those whimsical hearts. Pretty, pretty solid colors as well. There's no lack of options in the scrapbook paper department at Hobby Lobby for Valentine's Day. Okay, so I am going to use 2 of my painter sticks. I'm going to separate them about 3.5 inches. And then I'm going to attach them together in that shape there with those craft sticks that I purchased at Walmart. I'm going to use Gorilla Wood glue. And again, I have a nozzle problem with my wood glue bottle. So I'm just popping some wood glue in a little tray there using a disposable paintbrush. Hopefully your wood glue works better than mine. And you could just squeeze a bit on there. And you're just going to attach those craft sticks to that, those painter sticks. Now I'm using 4 of these craft sticks, jumbo craft sticks. And you'll see here, I'm just going to pop my first one on, starting at the bottom, up from the bottom, I want to say around 1.5 inches. It isn't important that you get them exactly at any place on those painter sticks. Just spread them out so you have a nice kind of a grid to attach your deco mesh to. So I'm just going to go all the way up and down that piece with my craft sticks, glue those on with my wood glue, and let that sit and dry till it's nice and dried and stable. All right, here's my pretty wood hearts. Love these. I just discovered them this year, just in cruising through Amazon or surfing. What do we say, cruising or surfing? What's the difference? But I just happened to come upon them, and this is the second project that I'm using them. And I actually love the shape of them. They have all those holes along the perimeter, which for me says put narrow ribbons and weave it through and make a beautiful looking heart. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is with my 2 hearts, I'm going to paint the surface and the edges white. I'm not going to worry about getting paint down in those holes because I'm weaving ribbon through those holes, and you will not even notice the inside of those holes once the ribbon is in. All right, there's that red deco mesh that I mentioned before. That is a Hobby Lobby deco mesh. However, you can pick up red deco mesh at the Dollar Tree. It's not going to be the same thickness or heaviness of the mesh, but you could certainly use that. Now, I want to say I used a couple of rolls of that pink. That is a Dollar Tree deco mesh. It has a little bit of red threads, if you will, woven through it. So that's a nice one to use for this project. For the white, I believe I used around a full roll if you get it at Hobby Lobby, or I would say a couple of rolls if you get it at the Dollar Tree. You're always going to have to use more if you do it from the Dollar Tree because it's very thin. But that's okay. You can use Dollar Tree mesh for this piece. All right, for my bundles, I'm mixing it up. I'm going to do a woodland method. I cut my deco mesh in 16-inch pieces. I'm going to do a nice tight roll, 3 times. I go on the other side, do the same roll. Then from there, I scrunch it right down the center. I use my little Dollar Tree clips that I love so much. And now I'm going to do the same thing on my red one. Now I'm going to mix this all up. So I'm going to be stacking them differently, each bundle. I'm going to use different combinations of deco mesh. Okay, there's my second roll, crawling up the center, pinch it in the center. Okay, now I'm going to add one more into the bundle, but this time I'm going to do a ruffle. Now, with the deco mesh, I turn it under right there at the onset, and then I scrunch down the center with my fingertips, try and do it right down the center. When I get to the other end, I like to take that raw edge and kind of push it inside the bundle. Do you see it? That's the way I deal with fraying. Okay, so now I have a ruffle. I'm going to put it on top of the Woodland Method bundle and put the other one underneath that. So I always put the ruffle on the top, and I put the Woodland Method bundles, both of them, underneath the ruffle. I'm using a full-size pipe cleaner. You could get by with 3/4 of a pipe cleaner and then just keep the other quarter for other tasks that you might do. But I'm going to suggest that you don't go with a half because you have to wrap it around that painter stick, and you really need the space on the pipe cleaner in order to do that. All right, now I'm going to create another bundle, but this time I'm going to use my striped red and white. As I mentioned, this is a very pretty deco mesh that I picked up after Christmas at 80% off. 6-inch. I'm going to do another white one here. All of these are 16-inch pieces. And I'm going to use pink. Now, the only thing that I change from bundle to bundle is either I use red, a solid red, or I use a red and white stripe. Every bundle gets pink and white, but I alternate when I do the striped and the red. Okay, so I'm starting off with my woodland, showing you another one, Woodland Method. Roll it up 3 times, take the clip, turn it around, roll it up 3 times, scrunch it right down the center with your fingertips till you get to the other side. Clip it. Now I decided I'm going to scrunch this one, so I turned it under a little bit, went up the deco mesh with my fingertips. This is the ruffle. When I get to the other end, watch how I tuck it inside. See that? That's how I deal with my raw edges. And it stops the fraying. It's a very simple technique. All right, so I have my ruffle. I have one of my little woodland, and now I'm going to do my white one. Roll it up on the end 2 to 3 times. Let's go with 3 times. Roll it the other side 3 times. Scrunch it up with my fingertips till I get to the other side. Clip it. All right, now I have everything all ready to go. I'm going to stack my Woodland Method bundles on top of one another, and I put my ruffle on the top. Look how pretty those bundles look like that. Love the 2 Woodland Method with the ruffle. I love mixing up bundle types and mesh on a piece. And this is just another example of that. That is so, so pretty. Okay, so I just proceeded to create all of my bundles. I put 28 of those little bundles on this swag. So I'm going to just continue on here, creating all of my bundles, mixing up the stacking, mixing up the colors, just really just mixing it all up so it creates a very pretty piece. And you bring all the colors into the piece. All right, so now I'm going to start attaching. Now I'm going to wrap my pipe cleaners around. The first thing I do is the sides. Now, I'm showing you here that I'm resting my deco bundle on the outside or the lateral side of this piece. I'm not setting it on top of that flat painter stick. I have my bundle facing the side, and then I wrap it around the painter stick. What I'm doing here is creating my outer border of my swag. I use 10 pieces going down each side, so 20 bundles are going to make up the sides of this swag. Alternate your bundles. If you're using different types of deco mesh, be sure you're mixing it up as you go. Do you see there how I have my bundles resting on the sides of my painter stick? This will assure that the sides are completely filled in. And 10 of those little bundles is going to really fill up each side of that swag. Okay, here you go. Look how pretty that is. Look how that striped mesh really added something to that piece. Really think about your deco mesh and what you're putting on your swag or anytime you do a wreath, and think about mixing up the colors and the patterns for visual interest. All right, so now you have a lot of pipe cleaners in the back there. Now, I just go through there later and snip off all of the excess. If you want to further put a dab of hot glue, I don't think they're going to be moving around anywhere, but if you feel more comfortable putting a dab of glue on each one in the back, feel free to do that. All right, now I'm going to start filling in the rest. I put one at the top facing the bottom, and then one, let me start that over. I put one at the bottom facing the bottom. Now I'm putting one at the top facing upward. That's what I wanted to say. The one at the bottom facing downward, the one at the top facing upward. There, that wasn't so difficult to say once I got it out. Okay, so now all I have to do is fill in the center. And I put a couple on each of those center kind of crossbars, if you will, or cross sticks. And that is completely filled up and so pretty. And a very substantial base for this gnome swag. But again, remember, you could create this in any kind of theme or pattern. If you're not a gnome lover like I am, very simple. Change up the scrapbook paper and just keep it in a heart theme. Okay, you can see my scrapbook paper there. It has all colors of pinks and reds. So I have a lot of freedom with this piece to really add a lot of colors, even different shades of pink. Okay, so I traced around my hearts on my gnome paper, doing it 2 times for both hearts. Okay, now I have all of those holes around the side, but my scrapbook paper is cut in a way that it will cover up the holes. So I have to do something about that. So I figured out going in about 3/4 of an inch all the way around the heart and trimming off 3/4 of an inch will allow me to have those holes open and have my scrapbook paper in the center of my heart. Now what I'm doing here is I'm taking a ruler. I'm going around the perimeter of each of the hearts and I'm marking 3/4 of an inch with just a little dot on my on the back side of my scrapbook paper. Now what this is going to do is give me a guide to trim off 3/4 of an inch around my heart. Once I start using, I'm going to be using my scalloping scissors for that. And that's going to enable me to put my heart in the center and then have my holes open so I can feed some ribbon through there. Okay, these are my scalloping scissors. Don't get them at Dollar Tree. Get them on Amazon or Hobby Lobby. You can also use pinking shears. Those you can find in any sewing department. Or you can use regular scissors. Honestly, you do not have to have a scalloped edge or a pinking shears edge on there. I think it looks nice, but honestly, the piece will still be pretty if you just use a regular straight edge with regular scissors. Now I'm carefully going around my heart. And when you use this type of scissors, you have to do it kind of slowly because you want to make sure as you progress cutting that you're keeping a continuous scalloping pattern. So you just have to be careful when you do that. All right, so here we go. I cut them all out. Now I'm going to take my Mod Podge, squirt some on there if I can get the lid unstuck. I do seem to have a little problem with nozzles. That's my problem. Okay, so I am putting a layer of Mod Podge on here now. I'm using a sponge applicator. You could get these absolutely anywhere. I even saw them at the grocery store yesterday. So I would say this is a very easy thing to find. Any Hobby Lobby, of course, Michael's, anywhere. Home Depot has them. Walmart has them. So a nice even layer of Mod Podge on there. And then I'm just going to place my heart. I'm just going to smooth it out with my hand. I want to make sure that my scalloped edges are all on top of that Mod Podge so it's adhering well. You can also use a little piece of saran wrap if you like to do that to smooth it out. And I'm going to do the other heart as well. So in between all of my Mod Podging tasks that I have for this piece, I keep my little sponge applicator in a baggie. That way it doesn't dry up. Now, I have that cute gnome ribbon there, but that's a little bit too wide to fit comfortably in those holes and to weave it in and out. So I'm going to use this red. It's a nice cloth ribbon, and I like it because it has a very small pattern. So when you weave it through those holes, you can actually see the little hearts. If you use a bigger pattern ribbon, you're not going to have that advantage. So I'm using a very narrow ribbon from Hobby Lobby. That ribbon that I used is 3/8 inch. So that's a narrow ribbon, but it fits so beautifully in the holes. All right, so what I do is while my ribbon is still on the bolt, I just kind of gauge how much ribbon I need so I can cut it free from the spool and just, weave my ribbon through there, very comfortably. So I figure out by just placing my ribbon kind of around the perimeter one time, and then I add half as much as I need for the entire perimeter. And this way, that allows for all of that in and out weaving around there, because you're using extra little bit of ribbon. You're not just going around the perimeter of the heart. You need extra because you're weaving in and out. I hope that makes sense. Now, this ribbon is absolutely perfect for this this technique, because if you can see there, you can see the little hearts. And that really looks very attractive on there. So I noticed that on this scrapbook paper, the reds are more of a deeper red. So I was very careful not to use anything extremely red, if you will, or a brighter red. So that ribbon was pretty much what I needed to kind of go with that scrapbook paper. And if you follow my channel, you know that I always perpetually have that struggle with the shades of red and shades of pink. So I'm always trying to get that right, because to have anything clash, oh yeah, I just cannot do, I can't do that. It drives me crazy. I like for things to coordinate. All right, look how cute that is. I did both of them. I'm showing you what it looks like here on the back. Love, love. So when I start the ribbon, I put a dab of glue. When I end it, I put a dab of glue. Those ribbons are not going anywhere. I just did it just to keep the ends secure on there. All right, I am going to be using pipe cleaners to attach these two hearts to the swag. So I fold a full-size pipe cleaner in half, leaving a little bit of a straight edge there right in the center. And I'm going to pop my pipe cleaners right down in my hot glue. Then furthermore, I'm just going to take a little piece of squared felt that I cut, and I'm just going to place that on there with a little dab of glue as well. This is going to keep that very secure on your swag. So I'm going to do that on both. Very simple. And then I'm going to be placing those hearts on my swag. I'll show you that here shortly. Don't forget to paint the sides. If I didn't mention that, but I think I did, the front and the sides of your heart, because that will show, so you don't want to chance that not looking, finished. Okay, so I'm getting out my Baker's Twine selection here, all of which came from the Dollar Tree. I had red there, a nice shade of pink. I have there some wood beads, 2 red, 2 white, and 2 pink. That's completely up to you if you want to use beads or not use beads on your hanger, and what colors and size, completely up to you. So I cut a nice long strip of that Baker's Twine, and now I'm just putting my beads down and figuring out how I am going to create my hanger. So this is how I'm going to do it. I just want 3 beads on each side. And then I'm going to be using this Baker's Twine and feed that through those beads. Now the first thing that I want to do is tie some knots, and thick enough so that it's a nice enough size knot, that it won't pop back through the holes on my beads. So that's why I'm tying quite a few knots there. Okay, so now to feed that Baker's Twine in through the beads, that's never going to go through there without some kind of tape on the ends of that. So I just rolled up a little bit of painter's tape on there. You could also take your hot glue and create like a point with that. But I just happen to have my painter's tape handy. So I created my little method of feeding those beads onto my twine. So I decided the pattern that I wanted, and so I fed my beads onto there. Now to be sure that that little knot stays right at the base of that first bead, I'm just going to put a little dab of glue there. And basically what I'm doing is gluing my little knot right to the bottom of that pink bead. Now I'm going to be doing the other side exactly the same way. So I leave a little bit of string at the top. That's what will be hanging over a hook or wherever you place a nail or wherever you place your swag. And then I'm now creating some more knots. I'm going to feed those beads on and create the same look that I did on the other side of the twine. Now, one thing I want to mention is you're going to see me do this in a bit, but what I did was I took my drill and I drilled a couple of small holes in my painter sticks. But if I would have used my my know-how and making a swag, I would have done that first. But I forgot to put my holes in. So yeah, I went back and did that later. You'll see me do that. But it was no big deal. I mean, I could still put 2 holes in the painter sticks, no big problem. Okay, so on the other side, same thing. I'm just going to put my little glue dab there at the knot. Make sure that my beads aren't going anywhere. And I've created my hanger just like that for my swag. So I'm picking up all of those colors in this swag. You'll see me attach that later. Quite simply, I just feed it through the holes that I drilled in my painter sticks. You probably, if you don't have a drill, could just take like a Phillips head screwdriver and just screwdriver holes into those painter sticks. All right, I'm showing you here. I am placing my hearts tilted. The top one I tilt to the right. The bottom one I tilted to the left. Now I'm going to be taking those pipe cleaners on the back of my hearts that I prepared. I'm going to reach through the deco mesh, wrap it around the painter sticks, and my hearts will be attached. Okay, everything's all attached now. Now, I decided that, of course, it doesn't take much decision for me to create a bow. So that was a pretty quick decision. So I put a bow at like around, I guess I'm calling it 3 o'clock, even though it's not a circle. But I'm putting it right on the right side of my piece. Now I'm going to use this pink 1.5-inch wire ribbon from Hobby Lobby. And the reason why I like this one is because it has pinks and reds. So that really picks up, all the colors I have going on that piece. I'm just going to create a simple 4-loop bow. My loops are only around 6 to 7 inches. So my loops, from just looking on over the top of them, if that makes sense, they're about 3 inches wide, each loop. Okay, so I'm just going to fold over my loops, pinch it in the center, and then I'm just going to take a pipe cleaner and secure those loops, and I'm going to do something else for the center. Okay, so that was loop number 4. I'm just going to pull my tails down. Now, speaking of tails, I left around 14 inches. I'm going to curl or spiral my tails going down the side of that piece. That's your, prerogative to do that or not do that, but I think it looks really nice on that swag. So I'm opening up my loops here, pulling my tails down, and I will deal with the tails later once the bow is on the piece. Now for the center of my bow, I really wanted to bring in that gnome ribbon, and I like it because it's a satin, and I really love a satin type of ribbon. So because I'm doing the gnome theme, I'm going to do figure 8 bow with 3 loops on each side using that gnome satin ribbon. Now, of course, if you're doing this in another theme, choose another ribbon. So you can see here, I'm just by folding over and under and over and under, I'm creating like a figure 8 bow. That's what I call it. And I'm holding it in the center with my index finger and my thumb on my left hand. Now I'm going to take my 26 gauge craft floral wire from the Dollar Tree. Love, love this wire. I'm going to wrap it around the center, going in between the tails, and I'm going to pull it really tight. And when I do that, it gathers up the center of my bow, which I really like that. Okay, so now I have a figure 8 bow with 3 loops on each side, and I'm going to be placing that on my other bow. And I decided I was going to put something in the center of my bow. So do you remember the little hearts that were on the wood skewers, if you will, that I showed you at the onset? Those are at Dollar Tree. I cut off a couple of those. All I did was use scissors to cut off that little wood piece that it's mounted on. And I couldn't decide, was I going to use pink or was I going to use red? I went back and forth, back and forth. You can use anything you like in the center, but just make it a small heart if you're going to do that. Otherwise, just put a loop in the center and, you're done. But I like to dress up my bows whenever I can. So I'm taking out my little pink heart. These are cute little wood hearts. And you can see here, I'm trying to decide, do I want pink, do I want red? And I couldn't decide, so I did both. So I just cut it off with my scissors, that little wood piece, and I used some hot glue. And I put those 2 wood hearts on there. I kind of put them a little bit like catty corner from one another. And tilted, of course. And that was it for that bow. But before I do that, I'm still in the decision-making process here, but I do put a full-size pipe cleaner to attach these 2 bows together. Now, I am going to be attaching this to that painter stick frame. So that's why I need that full-size pipe cleaner, because I'm going to just wrap that around. Dig my fingers down into the mesh, find a good spot, and wrap it around. Give it a twist, a few twists in the back. And then after I have that all finished, then I do glue on my 2 little hearts right in the center of that bow. I'm really liking that look of that. Very cute. All right, and there you have it. You can see I have those all glued on there. I like that. Okay, now for my gnomes. Now, they have these little metal stakes on them, and I wish that I could cut them off right at the very base of that metal gnome character, but if you try and wiggle it, it bends the metal, so I didn't want to do that. So I cut them off, and there was a little bit of that stake pointing out from the gnome, but it didn't matter because I stuck it down in the mesh. Here we go. I'm drilling my holes now. Just put it right at the top of those 2 painter sticks. I drilled 2 little holes in there, and then I'm going to attach my beaded hanger, give it an extra pop of hot glue just to hold it extra secure. I tied them through the holes that I created with the drill, and then I put a little extra hot glue. Okay, now I want to dress up a couple of these hearts with some of the scrapbook paper with the little hearts. And then I'm going to cover those wood hearts with that scrapbook paper and put some Mod Podge on there, of course. Now, I have that larger red heart. I think that was the one I had gotten on Amazon. But I decided to pair up those 2 hearts, and I popped that right at the top of the swag. It looks so pretty perched up there. And I'm going to pair those 2 up together because you can see there's a hole in that heart, but I am just going to cover it up. just like that, so I don't have to worry about filling it. And then I pop that at the top of the swag. Now, here is a package of those hearts from the Dollar Tree. Love, love, love these hearts. They come in small and a little bit bigger size. They come in pinks, which is not at all the pink that I needed for my swag. But that's okay, because I'm going to take my pink paint and I'm going to paint them, because they give you some plain hearts in that package, which I love that. So I painted them. Now I'm waiting for them to dry. Now I am going to put some mesh tubing bundles on here. I really love mesh tubing on a piece like this. I got my white mesh tubing at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to create 8 mesh tubing bundles. They're actually just 2 figure-8 bows. Be careful with the mesh tubing from the Dollar Tree. Sometimes it has little areas that are really squashed. You'll want to cut those off because it's kind of unsightly. But anyway, so I took my mesh tubing and I just create figure 8s. And I'll show you here. I'm going to create a loop, figure 8, a loop, figure 8. And then I cut it off, and I want to leave about, I want to say 6-inch tails, because I really like for my tails to pop up out of the deco mesh, as well as the loops. I'm not looking for a bow on my piece. I'm looking for just the effect of the loops and the tails popping up out of the deco mesh, if that makes sense. I do not use a pipe cleaner or wire or anything to attach my mesh tubing bundles. I never do that. They weigh absolutely nothing. If you put a little dab of glue on the stub of the pipe cleaner, you can simply put a dab of glue on there, figure out where you're going to put it. For me, I put one right in the center. I popped it down in there, then I take my scissors and push it down in there. So you see, I just want the effect of the loops. I don't want to see the center where I created the loop bow, if you know what I mean. Just the loops, that's all I want to see. I did 8 of those around the piece. Now you can see that I attached that heart right at the top, and I attached my gnomes with hot glue. I did one gnome a little bit lower, the one on the left, and the one on the right a little bit higher. I didn't want them exactly across from one another. Besides, the bow was there on the right side, so I had to put it up a little higher, but that's where it looks good. All right, now I'm going to take my painted hearts and my red hearts from the Dollar Tree, 2 sizes, and I'm just going to pop those around, hot glue them onto the deco mesh. Now this is up to you how you do it. Now I'm just giving you an overall look so you can see where I placed everything. My gnome is above my bow. My other little pink gnome, which is so cute, is a little bit lower. I have my pretty wood hearts with the ribbon woven through there. My red hearts, my pink hearts, my pretty bow. And this is a beautiful, beautiful swag. And I hope you like this one. I really enjoyed making this one. I am just like a Valentine's Day factory here. I've done so many Valentine's Day pieces, and I'm not done yet. So yeah, I'm going to go on to Easter after this, but I'm just having so much fun with it. Love, love, love Valentine's Day decor. And I hope you do as well. Remember to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. I have plenty of other Valentine's Day content available on my playlist. Okay, until next time, you all take care.